In this video we're gonna make this spike head. It will go around between 4 points. Okay, so without furthering delay, let's dive into this topic. Okay, so head over to sprites. Okay, find the spike head. Okay, as you can see, this is a sprite sheet. If I go to sprite editor, there, as you can see, multiple sprite. So what we need to do, we need to sprite mode to select multiple. Okay, and pixel per unit to select 16, and then sorry, 16. Okay, 16. If you look closely, you can see blurry. It's blurry. So what we need to do, we need to select filter mode to point no filter and compression to none. Okay, and after it hit apply. Okay, after it hit apply, after it hit apply and slice it. Okay, slice it, select automatic to grid by cell count and count how many columns and rows it has. 4 columns, as you can see, and 1 row. So 4 columns and 1 row, and slice it. After slicing it, hit apply. Okay, we're gonna make all of this. Okay, as you can see, there are many sprites of this, so we're gonna select the ideal one. Okay, select, as you can see, this is just only one sprite. Okay, so we don't need to select multiple, and we're gonna make the pixel per unit to 16. And for blurry, we have to select filter mode to point of filter and compression to none. Okay, and then hit apply, and then hit apply. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drag this into the scene view. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create 4 points. Okay, 4 points. Between those 4 points, this will move, this spike will move. Okay, so what we need to do, we're gonna rename this to spike head, something like that. I will call spike and then head. Okay, spike head. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna create 4 points. So what we need to do, right click on hierarchy or hit the plus icon over there. Okay, create empty game object and name that game object to something like points. Okay, movable points or spike points. I will call spike points, something like that. Okay, and right click on the transform reset. Okay, and select an icon. I'm gonna select this yellow. Okay, I'm gonna select yellow. Okay, so right click, I'm gonna move it over on the top. Okay, spike points. So we will, and also the spike head, I'm going to move it the top in the hierarchy. So what we're gonna do, right click on spike points. Okay, spike points, and create empty child game object and move it over here, something like that, and select an icon, gizmo. I'm gonna select the yellow one. So I'm gonna duplicate this. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm gonna move it over here. I'm gonna duplicate this. Okay, I'm going to move it down, move it over, something like that, I guess, something over here. Okay, and control D once more. Okay, control D once more, and we're gonna create 4 points. Between those 4 points, this spike head will move, and control D one more time. Okay, as you can see, we have created 4 points. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a spike head script. Okay, spike head script. So what we need to do, head over to script folder. Okay, right click, create C# script, name that to spike head. Okay, spike head, and hit enter. Okay, hit enter, and double click it to open up in Visual Studio. Okay, Visual Studio, and head over to again Unity. You need to attach this spike head script to our spike head game object. Okay, so just wait for to compile. So we will move between these 4 points. Okay, uh, and so we need a speed, and we need this 4 point. So we're gonna make an array. We're gonna put all of this point to that array. Okay, just wait for to compile. I will explain. Okay, everything. So just wait for to compile. Actually my computer is too slow, that's why it's taking too much time. So we're gonna create an array. Okay, we're gonna put all of these 4 points into that array. Array basically means list of objects or position or something like that. As we know, this is our position. Okay, this is our position, so we need to make transform array. Okay, we need to make transform array. Okay, just wait for to compile. Once it's reload, okay, we're gonna make a transform array and we're gonna put all of these 4 points to that array. Okay, the first one will be 0, the first one index will be 0, and the second one index will be 1, and the third one index will be 2, and the fourth one index will be 3. Okay, so if I select, head over to script. Okay, if I, so what we need to do, select the spike head. Okay, spike head, and attach the spike head script to that game object to add component. Okay, drag it to add component and double click it to open up in Visual Studio. So firstly we need a speed. Okay, firstly we need a speed, so we're gonna assign in the top. So let's create public. We are making public so we can adjust from the inspector. That's why we are making it public. Float. Okay, float, this will be float. And we're gonna call this speed. By default you can set any value. I'm going to set it like 2 unit. Okay, and we also need an array. We're gonna put all of those 4 points into that array. To make an array, we're gonna firstly have to make this public. Okay, public, and those are position. So transform is responsible for position, so we have to make transform, and we have to make this square brackets. Okay, we also need to name this. We're gonna call this 2 points, spike points. Okay, spike points. Okay, so we're gonna put all of those 4 points into this array or the this is spike points. So control s on your keyboard and head over to Unity. You will able to see an speed parameter. Okay, speed parameter as well as that spike points array. So we need to drag all of these points to that array. Okay, so the first one will index will be 0, the second one index will be 1, the third one index will be 2, and the fourth one index will be 3. So we can assign those. Okay, so as you can see, our speed is 2 unit and spike points. So what you need to do, you can create by manually plus 4 time like this, but instead of doing this we're gonna make we have shortcut. Okay, so go to inspector. In the top right corner you can see the lock button. Just lock it. Okay, just lock it and select all of this point and drag it to spike points. Okay, and unlock it and head over to spike head again. So you can see 0 is the first one, 1 is the second one, and 2 is the third one, and fourth is the 3 is the fourth one. So this is an index of that position. Okay, these are positions. So firstly we need to move. Okay, so what we need to use vector2 dot so we don't need this start function, but we leave it as it is. So what we're going to do, we have to use vector2. Okay, sorry, I'm just mess around. Vector2. Okay, vector2 dot move towards. This function takes current position and the target position where you want to go, and third parameter is will take the speed, how much fast the this spike head will go to that point. Okay, the target position. So firstly we have to put the current position as a first parameter. Transform dot position means the current position of the spike head or the game object. Okay, and the target position. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass spike points. Okay, spike points. As spike points we have to make square brackets. Okay, we also need to define an integer index. We call it index. We're gonna make it public. For explanation I am making it public. You don't need to make this public. I will call int. By default going to set index. I will call index. By default I am going to set it to 0. Okay, so spike points. Okay, I'm gonna put index. So as you know, the 0 is the first one. So what we are doing over here, we are moving towards vector2 dot move towards function takes three arguments. Firstly, the current position, and the third and the second parameter, it will take the target position where you want to go, and the third parameter is will take the speed, how much fast this should go into that target position. So we also need to dot position, and we also have to pass the speed as a third parameter, and we also need to multiply this with time dot delta time to make frame rate independence. Okay, time dot. And so what we are doing, transform dot position means our current position, and spike, we are passing a spike points. Okay, index, by default we are setting index to 0. As we know, the 0 is the first point. 0 is the first point. If we head over to unity, if I go to spike points, as you can see, 0 is the first one, and the second one index is 1, and the third one index is 2, and the fourth one index is 3, and the first one index is 0. So we will move over to this point. Okay, so by default we are setting the index by default 0. Okay, so we will move toward that first position. So we also need to do, okay, transform dot position equal to this. Basically we are setting current position. Okay, transform dot position means the spike head current position, and we are setting it, okay, we are setting it to this. What we are doing, we are including the vector2 dot move towards function, and this function takes the current position and the target position where you want to go, and the third parameter as a speed it will take. So as we know, we by default we set the index 0. So so index, so 0 is the first one, so the target position will be the first point, and transform dot position we are setting equal to this. Okay, and we are doing it update function, because update function get called every time. So that's why we are doing, we need to check every single frame, or every single frame we have to move into that point. Okay, this spike head will go over to the first point. Okay, this spike head will go over to the first point. Just wait for to compile. And if we play, okay, if we play, as you can see, 0 is the first one, element 0. Okay, this is index. Okay, by default we are index setting to 0, so it will move over to the first point. So as you can see, it's moved to the first point, but we also need to move to the second point, third point, and the fourth point. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna check between this our spike head position and the first point position. Okay, if it's lesser than, we're gonna check the distance. If it's lesser than 0.1, okay, we're gonna move, we're gonna increase the index by 1. So let's suppose we index, by default we index have 0. If we put 1, so it will move over to the second position, because second position index is 1, as you can see. And if we increase the index one more time, 2, it will go to the third point, because third point index is 2, as you can see. And the fourth point index is 3. If we set this to 3, so it will move over to this the end position, or the fourth. Whenever we go to fourth position, we're gonna set the index to 0, so it will go to the first point. Okay, so it will loop, it will be looping. So whenever we reach the fourth point, we're gonna set the index to 0. And as we know, the index 0 is the means the first point. If we set the index to 0, okay, it will go to the first point. So what we need to do, we need to check between our, okay, our position, our spike head position. Okay, spike head position, and this the first point position, or this position. If it distance between lesser than, if the distance between lesser than 0.1 f, we're gonna increase the index, so it will go to second, third, and fourth. And whenever we reach the fourth one, we're gonna set the index to 0. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do it over here. So if, okay, if we have to use vector2 dot distance function. Basically this function takes two position or two vectors. Okay, firstly so we're gonna check between, okay, our position, our own position, so we have to pass transform dot position. Okay, and the second parameter we have to pass the target position, or the target position, okay, or the position we want to check. Okay, so we're gonna pass spike points. Okay, spike points 0 or 0, sorry, we have to pass the index. Okay, index dot position. If it's okay, if it's lesser than 0.1f, okay, basically we are checking, basically we are checking a transform dot position, means our own position, spike point index. By default we set the index to 0, so it will check our own position and the first point position. Okay, and the first point position, if between this two position, okay, if the distance becomes lesser than 0.1 f, what we're gonna do, we're gonna increase the index. Okay, index plus equal 1, or you can say index plus plus, that also mean this. So basically if index became 1, so over here transform dot position, index, as you can see target position, index become 1, so it will move over to the second point. As we know, second point index is 1, so it will keep increasing. Okay, if and this will become 1. Okay, and we are checking if transform dot position and a spike position, as we know in the next frame this will be 1, so 1 is the second one position, so we are checking. Okay, we are checking the our position and the second point position. Okay, if it's lesser than 0.1 f, so it will be, as you know, index already 1, so 1 plus 1 becomes 2. So over here we are going over to here, and we are checking it's, if it becomes 2, as we know, transform dot position is the current position, and at 2, okay, we are passing the index 2 in the third frame. Okay, so index becomes 2, so as we know the third point index is 2, so it will go to the third point by this amount of speed. And when and then we are checking our own position and spike points, index becomes 2, which mean the third point. Okay, so we are checking our own position and our spike position. Okay, spike, the third point position, if it's lesser than 0.1 f, okay, 0.1 f, so we are increasing the index was 2, so 2 plus 1 becomes 3. So as we know, if we are again going to this line over here, index is 3. Okay, index is 3, so we are going to the fourth point. Okay, so it will keep looking. Okay, control s on your keyboard and head over to Unity. You will able to see it will stuck in the fourth point. It will keep go to firstly it will go to first point, then second point, then third point, then fourth point. Whenever we reach the fourth point, okay, we're gonna set the index to 0. Just wait for to compile, I will explain that. Just wait for to compile, and then I'm gonna clear the console, I'm gonna move it over here, and I'm gonna play. Okay, I'm gonna play. So just wait for to compile. You will able to see whenever we check distance between these points, index will become, as you can see, index became 1, so it will move over to here, index becomes 2 and then 3. But we are, as you can see, we are stuck in the fourth point. Okay, so whenever the index becomes 3 means the fourth point, as we know, 3 means the fourth, as we know, the index of the fourth point is 3. So what we gonna do, whenever the index becomes 3, okay, we're gonna set the index to again 0, so it will keep go to first point, then second point, then third point, then fourth point. Okay, so whenever the index becomes 3, we're gonna set, okay, we're gonna set the index to 0, so it will go to the first point, and it will keep looping. Okay, it will keep looping. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna check over here. Okay, we're gonna check over here if index, okay, index, if it's greater than or equal to spike points, okay, spike point dot length. Basically this means index, whenever, let's suppose index becomes 3, means we are in the fourth point, okay, and spike points dot length, how many points we have? We have fourth point, as we know we have fourth point, okay, we have fourth point. So if its index is greater than this spike point dot length, okay, spike point dot length, so we're gonna set the index to 0, okay, we're gonna set the index to 0. So basically what we are doing, if so as we know, index will be 4, okay, index will be 4 because we are keep increasing the index, okay, and how many points we have? We have 4 points. So 4 is equal to, okay, equal to or greater than 4, greater than this, how many points we have? We basically have 4 points. So we're gonna setting the index to 0 again, so it will keep looping, okay, it will keep looking. Whenever we reach the fourth point, the index becomes 3, but as we know, we are increasing the index by 1. So 3 plus 1 becomes index 4, and if it becomes 4, and how many points we have? We have 4 points. So 4 equals to become 4, then we are setting, okay, setting the index to 0, okay, index to 0. So it will go to the first point. As we know, the first point index is 0, and the second point index is 1, and the third point index is 3, sorry, 2, and the fourth point index is 3. So if I move over here to a spike here, and if we hit play, we will able to see, okay, we will able to see it will keep looping and keep looping, and between this point, these 4 points, okay, between these 4 points. So as you can see, it's keep looking and keep looping these 4 points, okay. So let's suppose I remove this and control s on your keyboard and head over to Unity, you will able to see index will be 4, okay, index will be 4. As we know, we don't have any fifth point. The fifth point will be index will be 4, but we don't have 4 points. So what we are doing, we are setting back index to 0. That's why we setting back to index to 0, so it will go to the first point. If you will able to see, the index over here will keep increasing when we reach the fourth point, okay, fourth point index is 3, okay, so it will be 4, okay, it will go over to 4, but we don't have the fifth point index will be 4, 4 as we know, but we don't have that. As you can see, this becomes 4. So what we are doing, oh, so if I uh, unplay this, and what we are doing, if, okay, if index index is greater than or equal to point spike points, okay, spike points spike points dot length, okay, spike point dot length, basically index became 4, and how many points we have? We have 4 point, as we know. So 4 becomes equals to 4. So what we are doing, we are setting back index to 0, setting back index to 0, okay, setting back index to 0. So control s and head over to Unity. I hope you get the idea or what's actually happening, okay. So if you are new to my channel, then subscribe it, okay, for future tutorials. And if you want to support me, you can support me on patreon.com, okay. If you enjoyed this video, you can like this and give a thumbs up for it, and share it with your friends who are willing to learn game development in general, okay. So if we play, okay, if we play, so it will keep looking, okay, keep looping. Whenever the index became 4 over, we are gradually increasing the index, okay. Whenever it's become 4, we are setting back index to 0, okay. setting back index to 0, as we know if the first point index is 0 and the second point index is 1 and the third point index is 2 and the fourth point index is 3 and the fifth will be the index 4, but we don't have 4 fifth points. Okay, so index, when the index become 4, we are setting back index to 0, so it will go to the first point. So it will keep looking, okay, keep looping to between these 4 points. Okay, and I hope you get the idea. And lastly, thanks for watching this video.